New Thought Media Network proudly presents Having Courageous Conversations, where real talk dives deep. Each week we go beyond surface talk. We open our hearts, speak our truths, and dive into the stories that shape us. No scripts, no filters, just powerful, unforgettable conversations about life, purpose, healing, and truth. Join the conversation, because your voice belongs here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel at Having Courageous Conversations or email us at yourshowyourvoice@gmail.com. Now, let's have a courageous conversation.
The views and opinions of our guest and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of New Thought Media Network, or any organization we may be affiliated with. Here at New Thought Media Network, we welcome freedom of speech and courageous conversations. There are many topics that can be difficult to navigate. Challenging the status quo and engaging in lively debate is important to expanding our understanding of one another, and life in general. Creating a peaceful world doesn't happen because no one disagrees, it happens from a willingness to understanding one another. In our programming, we strive to expand consciousness and assist people in creating remarkable lives. Your comments are welcome at info@ntmedia.org.
Thank you for joining us for another Courageous Conversations, where we explore truth, growth, and conscious living. We believe that when we speak from the heart and we listen to others with compassion, we hold space for one another, where we can create possibilities for healing, growth, and connection. We believe. I'm Shira Rogers, and it is my absolute joy to be here with you. Joining me normally is my co-host, Mark Dupuis, who sends her regrets today, but I am honored to guide this powerful conversation with our guest, Josh Sherry, today. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Josh as a passionate naturalist and outdoorsman who founded and owns 7G Explorations. His mission is to foster healthy and respectful connections between people and nature while creating educational and employment opportunities within the indigenous communities. Since its inception, 7G Explorations has already supported the construction of the new longhouse at Guyana and developed four, I hope I got that right, Josh. And
Guyana says, yeah.
Say it again?
Guyana say.
Thank you very much.
Very well.
And developed 4 new ecotourism packages in partnership with 6 nations. It's a gift to have you with us today, Josh, and we thank you for saying yes.
Thank you very much. I am honored to be here with you.
Today we're diving into a topic which I'm really excited about, because I think many of us have a lot to learn, and it is a broad topic, awakening from the colonial mind. And I think that's an important and timely conversation, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So, Josh, I want to begin by asking you to share the story of 7G Explorations and what called you to create the work.
Wow. That's a bit of a wordy answer. Life, everything that I've been through in my existence, trying to find purpose and connection, while also navigating how you exist in a world with a colonial mindset. A huge inspiration in my life was my mother. She taught me everything about work ethic, dedication, how to be a man, how to take perspective from our females, really how to be a whole and balanced person. Mm-hmm. And then I took that as I was developing myself into the trades with that eagerness to and willingness to learn and grow And unfortunately, in those types of sectors, there are a lot of addictions issues. There are a lot of partying. When youth get access to that amount of money per hour, it tends to free them up to do things that don't necessarily grow them. And then we are stuck in a position where we're constantly working overtime and hours just to pay our bills, cover everything, and then try to get ahead for ourselves. So we get lost in those systems. And I myself were one of those people getting lost in that very system. And I was finding it extremely difficult to navigate or connect. So when I first left the trades, I originally wanted to start my own millwright business and train them under my way. I believe that humans should communicate between each other. But my realization at the end of that was the fact that I would still be sending them out into those unhealthy environments, dealing with unhealthy people that are doing things for unhealthy reasons. So all the good work that I would be doing with them at their home base would just be sending them into situations where they may be facing even greater trials and tribulations because the people they're dealing with aren't necessarily following the same path of values or what is most important to that individual. So I pivoted. I didn't start that business, and I chose to go back to school, where I went to the Adventure Expeditions and Interpretive Leadership Program at Fanshawe College in Simcoe. And I had a group of incredible teachers who were beyond supportive and empowering for everything that I was trying to accomplish with my life. So I just graduated this program this past April. And then literally stepped in outside of the last day of school, right into working for 7G Explorations. And the reason that I took the route for outdoor education and cultural connections is because no matter what race or religion you come from, all of us started out with people who were in a community trying to survive in the elements. So it is our connection to nature. It is our connection to each other. At those points in time in human history, nobody was doing what they were doing because they were going to get a mansion on the hill, or that they were going to get the next supercar or own the newest new of the newest new. They were doing it because they genuinely cared about the people that were around them. So that's really just that root ideology of where humanity comes from is really what I want to try to reinstill in the people that I do programming with. I want them to be proud of their ancient ancestral knowledge, their ancient ancestral cultures, and this is all pre-colonization. So when I talk about 7Gs, it really is everything that I'm doing is trying to bring up Indigenous people, give them opportunities for employment and education, while also disconnecting them from that colonial mindset and going back to our ancestral ways where community is the most important thing that we have in our lives. Each other is what we need to survive. It's no longer just about the individual. It's about everybody around us and everything around us. So the more we're able to connect, the more we are able to evolve. It's truly what I believe in. So that's kind of why I started 7G Explorations.
Wonderful. And correct me if I'm wrong, 7G stands for 7 generations, right?
It stands for a number of things. So I wanted to be very inclusive. My two sons are half Haudenosaunee and half Anishinaabe. So I wanted to include the 7 grandfather teachings. 7G stands for the 7th generation prophecy, and the G alone stands for the Haudenosaunee's great law. So it's encompassing the nations that I'm most closely tied to, and really bringing together the beauty of all of their ideologies and how we can truly make that 7th generation prophecy come to pass. Make sure that we're taking care of the people who are going to be here 200 years ahead of us. So the name was something I remunerated on for months and months, trying to figure out how I'm going to convey in just a simple title everything that I stand for. And that's kind of where I landed. And the explorations part of it is exactly that. We are exploring each other. We are exploring ourselves. We are exploring our culture, our language, our identity, our connection, and our environment. We're trying to be as connected as possible with the programming that we do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love how you explained that, bringing all, the 7 grandfathers and 7 generations and your community that you're from into that whole thing. So you speak about the 7 generations. Did you say prophecy?
Yep.
Would you mind, for those of us who don't know what that is, explaining that?
It could be told in a number of ways, but essentially what it comes down to is that the 7th generation is coming up. And at that point in time, there's going to be great change. So preparing ourselves, making sure that 7th generation is healthy for the changes to come is a part of that whole prophecy. And some believe that a lot of those generations have already come to pass and that we are starting to enter into those generations coming ahead of us, where we're going to be meeting all of those changes. And it's kind of evident in what you see happening globally, locally, from our federal government to our provincial government to world government. There's a lot of change happening, not all great change and not always for positive notes, but that's exactly why we're having this discussion here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know, I think that for me, I see a lot more pride in Indigenous people carrying themselves. There's a lot more wanting to connect with their roots, wanting to understand where they come from, and being proud. Whereas before, and I'm not from this country, but my understanding is that a lot of Indigenous people hid that they were Indigenous.
I did myself during my trade. Most people thought I was either Sicilian, Spanish, Hawaiian, Tobagan. They would guess everything else under the sun except for Indigenous, Mohawk, or even Anishinaabe. They never considered me that, or I don't look that way. So I wouldn't bring it up to people. I wouldn't share that with people. And that actually gave me insight into how people truly felt, because when things would happen, you would hear things like they need to shut the bleep up and get over it. And then it wasn't until I would say, hey, just to let you know, I'm Indigenous, and then it would be backpedaling. So it was an opportunity to get a real glimpse into how everyday people truly view us without having that already barrier for them to share how they truly feel there. But it was growth and development for myself as much as it was upsetting that, wow, these are people that I work with and they feel that way about me. Like, I'm here every day at work. I'm working beside you, sweating, slugging. So what makes me less than? So it gave me a lot of questions, and this was partly why I left the trades in the first place, to broaden and create opportunities for not only Indigenous people to connect with this culture and identity, but non-Indigenous as well. We try to encapsulate that through our tourism packages that we've developed with Six Nations Tourism, and bring people from off the reserve onto there to get a true and honest viewing of who we are, where we came from, and why we are the way we are. Whether you are from this continent or not, you are still from our species.
Right.
So,
I love that.
Connection truly is the driver of what we do. Love, acceptance, safe space. Those aren't just taglines that you throw on to bring people in, but it's something you actually live. It's how you conduct yourself on a regular basis. So like walking into the whole conversation of decolonizing your mind, it really is changing your prime drivers of what you believe in and why you do what you do.
Yeah.
And moving forward in truth and honesty of yourself to be able to connect truthfully and honestly to other people.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I love that. I don't know if you know Unity Kitchener, who sponsors this program. but all unity. We believe in oneness, one power, one
Mhm.
presence everywhere.
Yep.
Hi, Mark. One power, one presence everywhere, and that we are all a part of it. There's no
Absolutely.
separation, right?
Mhm.
And so when you talk about us being a species, I'm getting goosebumps, because you're not separating the indigenous from the colonial people that came in and created harm on this land. And so I really feel what you're doing is inclusive, and it's so important, because you're educating your own kind, and you're educating those who don't know any better, who are ignorant.
Yeah, I believe when we bring up that term, colonizer, um, a lot of people associate it with Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but colonialism itself belongs to no race, no religion, no nothing. It is an ideology. Anybody can practice it. Once you conduct yourself in a certain set of behaviors, then you're starting to behave like a colonizer. Um, but outside of that, humans are just humans. Pre colonialization of Europe, their social structures, their communities were all closely tied to the land, the seasons, uh, spring equinox, summer solstice, harvest moon. All of these things in nature was what drove who they were and how they conducted themselves in their society and how they connected with the environment that gave them all this growth and definition and development. Um, Connecting ourselves to nature, understanding the environment we live in, is the basis of human understanding and evolution. When we step outside of everything that we are handed and told, and we actually develop ourselves through education, through communication with entities all around us, we end up finding ourselves in a position where there are far more similarities between all of us than there are reasons to separate or segregate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't look at Europeans as colonizers. I look at Europeans as a nation who was colonized and got infected by the ideology of colonialism. It's unfortunate that they chose to take that ideology that affected them so negatively in their own homeland, and then starting to apply it to other nations where we could have completely shifted. So imagine then if that had happened in Europe, and Europe said, you know what? We don't want to follow that path. We don't need kings. We don't need rulers. We don't need all of this other stuff. We just need community, communication, development, skill development, and sharing. And they went to all these other nations, and instead of enslaving them or killing them or lying to them, actually listened to what they had to say, took the wonderful information that they had, like when colonialism first showed up to India. India was already light years ahead of Europe when it came to mapping the stars, mathematics, all kinds of wonderful things that we considered to be civilized. Um, and it wasn't taken into consideration. We burnt uh, the libraries of Alexandria, Alexander the Great. There's so much information throughout human history because we've operated ourselves through that limited lens of colonialism to actually give ourselves the tool to expand and grow. So it's de-evolution at that process, where if we would have shared that information, if you could have still went and visited the ancient library of Alexander the Great, imagine how much more knowledgeable you would be, our society would be, from all the different perspectives that came from all the different nations that lived in all these different areas. We would find and create the pathways that humans need to move forward in the healthiest way possible. But
Mm-hmm.
because we went the opposite way and we followed this ideology, we ended up in this state where we are de-evolved. We are still fighting amongst each other for the most insane reasons possible. Your skin color is different.
Mm-hmm.
Your accent is different. Where you were born is different. So I have to hate you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if it was reversed, and they shared, then it wouldn't matter where you came from. Any environment that you went into, you would have a greater pool of empathy and compassion for all those people around you. It doesn't matter who they are or where they came from. They have legitimate ideas. They have a legitimate voice. As long as you're conducting yourself in a good way, as long as you're being nice, collaborative, helpful, then people want you to be there. People
Right.
want to participate. But
Yes.
when you're oppressive, mean, hate-filled, people don't want you around. So it's truly this ideology of colonialism that has massively stunted a lot of what human development could have been. I do not believe that what our society is today is the apex of human ingenuity or capabilities. I think there is still so much more we can bring to the table if we actually just listen to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think as a species, we are babies. We have a long way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that there are groups of people that believe that colonialism is growth, that it is development. But all colonialism is, all throughout history, and all it has ever really been, is the horse that capitalism rides in on. They use these tactics because instead of having to trade with a nation fairly, it's a lot cheaper and more profitable for me if I just take it from them. I don't have to pay a fair price. I can lie, cheat, steal, murder, commit genocide to get what I want, and it doesn't cost me a thing other than some bodies and some lives. So just even that whole connection to minimize what human life's value is, it wasn't meant to take from others. It wasn't meant to destroy. Everything that humans are built for are growth and development. You learn and you develop when you read books, when you hear stories from a friend's perspective, even if it's something traumatic in their life that's happened. When you hear it, you feel their pain. You hear how much it affected them, and it changes you. So life itself is nothing but a series of comparative analyses that we make based off of the perspectives that we have developed in our life so far. And our perspective development comes from reading books, talking to your friends, participating in your community, having things happen to you. And this pool of perspective that you've garnered in your life is what you use to make your next decision when something happens. One of the great comparators that I like to use for this is, say you're 16 years old. You got yourself out of a hoopty. You're finally in a state where it's a financial position where you can get yourself out of that beater car that you've just started out driving with. And you go into the lot, you feel great, you get rid of that old beater, you get yourself into a nice new car. You go drive off the lot. You're feeling so great about yourself. Man, I've left that old car behind. This is so much nicer. And then all of a sudden, the same car comes pulling across out in front of you on the road. Now, this thing's all done to the nines. It's got all the bells and whistles on it. And now you're thinking to yourself, man, that car is so much nicer than what I have. You're just happy with what you had a moment ago because you're using it to compare against this to that to this to that.
Yeah.
And that's all we're ever doing is comparing everything that we understand with what we're presented as we move forward in life.
Yeah.
Being able to lean into that, show compassion and empathy, we can really step away from a lot of the prime drivers that drive colonialism as an ideology and start going back to true community. Community itself, communication in unity. We need to be able to empathize with each other, understand each other to create a true democracy. If not, then all we have is just a bunch of different sides fighting against each other. We should be able to meld together and have all those perspectives and ideologies come together to create something that's truly healthy moving forward.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. I've never heard colonialism explained that way. Can you say that again? Because I thought that was amazing, that colonialism is only
The horse that capitalism rode in on. So it was it's the perfect tool for a capitalist to go in and garner all of the resources, without having to pay a fair price or create negotiations with the nations or empower that other nations. Colonialism is driven by capitalism, which is driven by greed,
Right.
predatory at best. That's exactly what colonialism is. It's just a tool for capitalist agendas, so they don't have to pay that fair price or treat other people with dignity or respect.
Yeah. Wow. and this is so rich, and you're so wise. And I smiled when you said perspectives, because I'm all about perspectives. I think that's what life is. We all have our own perspective, which creates what we think is our reality.
Truth.
Truth, yeah, which isn't really truth because it's coming from our perspective. So, yeah, it's not truth with a capital T, right?
Exactly. I actually had an elder one time tell me this story. I was going through some really, really difficult times in my life, and I wasn't conducting myself in the greatest of ways. To humble me down, he sat me down and he said, "Josh, I want you to close your eyes." And I was like, "Okay." So I closed my eyes and he said, "Now imagine no matter where you look, no matter how big the world is, that the ground is infinite sand." And I was like, "Okay, so no matter where I go, no matter what I do, yep, the entire world is nothing but sand." Okay. He goes, "I want you to reach down with your left hand and I want you to take a big, huge scoop from that sand in your left hand." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Now I want you to take your index and your thumb of your right hand and pinch from what you have in your left hand." I was like, "Okay." So then he said, "Each grain of sand represents something that you know. What you have between your fingers right now in your right hand is what you know currently. What you have in your left hand is what you can possibly know in this life. What you have on the ground is things that you are never going to know."
Wow.
So that really brought me back. If I want to know as much as I can for each one of those grains of sand that lie underneath of my feet, not just what I have in my hands, then I have to look through other people's perspectives. I have to take the wisdom of others around me to be able to develop myself, to be able to see from all those different grains of sand that make up this beautiful world we live in.
Yeah. So recognizing it's not just from your perspective, but understanding the perspectives that others may be coming from.
Exactly. Love, compassion, safety. When you go into things
community.
without a hate-filled agenda, or just your perspective driving you, then the only thing you're going to get out of that situation is growth and development.
Which can be very painful.
Absolutely. It's going to make you question a lot of the things that maybe you have been locked into. But at the end of the day, it will give you a greater pool of love to draw from, so you can positively affect everybody else that's around you, your children, your grandchildren, your aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, all of it, everything, your working relationships, your even global relationships. If our nations treated each other in a good way, then we wouldn't have wars. We tell our children when they go into kindergarten, hands to yourself, use your words, don't hit people. But then when we become an adult, it's like, okay, grab a gun, commit genocide.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense when we've been raised being told to be a good, understanding, loving person, only to become an adult and say it doesn't matter when anybody else is go through it. You got to get your paper. You only got to worry about you, bro. All of these other things that just limit us back to just self removes us from our true ability to be a human.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, we're halfway through the show already. So we're going to take a 2-minute break. Don't go away, guys. As you can hear, this is such an engaging conversation. And Josh Cherry is bringing so much wisdom into this conversation. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, Josh. So don't go away. Just do what you need to do. Go to the washroom, grab something to drink, and come right back, because we are going to be right back soon in a couple of minutes.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Laura Mock as the presence of love, Maria Hartman, knowing truth, Wendy Wilson as the quality of presence, and Lara Brzezinski as the essence of joy. It's All Love, a space where we open into the heart, tap into the soul's deep wisdom, and enter into the energy of love, truth, presence, and joy. It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back to Having Courageous Conversations. We're here with Josh Sherry, continuing our conversation about awakening from the colonial mind. So let's continue, Josh. What do you mean, or explain to us what you think about when you say awakening from the colonial mind?
Prime drivers. It's realigning your prime drivers. A lot of humanity's prime drivers are material and wealth.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at our societies pre-colonization, no matter where you're from, our drivers were community. Our drivers were education and empowerment. These things in those societies weren't held at a dollar value where you have to pay X amount of money to be able to get access to this information. This information was shared with you because it was a part of the development of our species, of our people, of our nation, of our culture, of our language,
Right.
Of our ceremonial practices.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about the awakening from a colonial mindset, it really is just showing up, being participative, being present, being accepting, loving, compassionate, and empathy to drive what you do, so that when you step into these situations, you're no longer then doing it for money. You're doing it for personal development.
Mm-hmm.
The more you develop, the more opportunities come your way.
Mm-hmm.
Money is just a byproduct. If you are actually showing up with integrity, if you are kind and respectful to others, then you're the type of person that they want to have around.
Mm-hmm.
When you start separating yourself from that and using just wealth and title and power to get to where you want, most of those people you don't want around. You don't want to build relationships with them.
Right.
You are forced in a work setting to have to participate with them, even though they're so wildly outside of how you conduct yourself or what you believe humanity can be. You still have to learn to function within that setting. And I've spent a lifetime doing that. So I've spent hours and hours and hours, and all the times I've had to drive to work, drive home from work, go to different locations for work far away, and remunerated on this very subject over and over and over again to find ways where, how do humans move forward, separating themselves from that colonial ideology without having to use what colonialism has used to push its agenda, and that's war, death, genocide, hatred, separation, segregation. How do we do it in the most inclusive way possible, where I don't have to fight you
Yeah.
to do this, to move forward? I just need to communicate with you. I need to share with you, and I need to be honest about myself. I need to be honest about who I am, where I'm from, and know my purpose here on this planet. So really, it's stepping away from money being our driver, materials being our goal, and actually looking at life as development. Life is a thing that when you learn, you grow. So being connected, picking up some books. I know reading's really dropped off of the popularity map with everything that we have when it comes to technology nowadays. But reading is the only thing that you can travel the world and never ever leave your home. You can garner more perspective from reading about even fantasy characters. One of my heroes in my life is Driz Do'Urden, and he's a character from the Legend of Driz series written by R.A. Salvador, and he is an incredible character. The trials and tribulations he's faced, I really resonate with that, and I believe, just like him, that it's through understanding that we can create a better path moving forward for all people, no matter who's been put into whatever box. So, stepping into love, stepping away from materials. Don't use money as your driver. Use experience, growth, development. If you're passionate about something, develop yourself in it, and then money will come eventually. And money is itself even inconsequential. It's an entity we put such great value on. You can't drink it, you can't eat it, you can't build a shelter with it, you can't use it for clothing. It really is inconsequential when you actually look at what humans truly need.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, money can cause a lot of negativity in a lot of people's lives. And I can hear people saying, in reality, though, we need money because we have to survive. We have to be able to buy food and buy, rent housing. And that's how we've been conditioned, right? And that's how the system has been set up. So what do you think the first steps could be for somebody to work on awakening from the colonial mind? I hear what you're saying about love and kindness, but what are the kinds of steps that people can take to become more kind, become more loving, become more community orientated?
Connect with nature. Nature, especially for the Haudenosaunee people, it's what we used just by watching it, connecting it with it, living with it in every aspect of our lives. It truly defined who we are, from our clan systems, our ceremonial practices. Even when we learn to pick medicines and harvest medicines, we listen to the bird songs. We wait for certain leaves to change for the next thing that we do. So once you start stepping in and connecting with nature, and you see all of these beautiful relationships between species that really have nothing to do with each other except for this connection, you can see that outside of these stories we tell ourselves, like how a wolf is really aggressive and he's the alpha male and the blah, 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 blah. Wolves are actually extremely loving. They're extremely community oriented. Every single thing that they do is for the protection of their people, and it's not meaning that it's going in and wiping out other species to protect its family. It means that it learns to hunt and survive in the environments that it does lives in, to be able to support its family in a good way. So when you step outside and you see those trees, like, trees are probably bar none one of my absolute favorite entities on the planet. Trees are intelligent. They can identify every single species that grows around them, whether it was a tree from a seed of its own tree, or from a seed from a tree of the same species but a different tree, or from a seed from a tree of a completely different species. It can identify every single thing around it, and it shares all of its nutrients, its minerals, its water, its energy to these other trees, because the tree understands that if my environment around me is healthy, then I too am healthy. So when we start connecting, like even just from the simple understanding of how a tree operates and how a tree communicates, we start to see how humans can do better to communicate with each other. The tree has no animosity. It's not shooting nukes at the other trees because it's growing in their area. They're sharing, they're connecting, they're communicating because they are a part of the environment, regardless of where we come from, regardless of our own personal indigenous identity and territories. We're all still on one planet.
Yeah.
That is the environment. If you're in the eco region of the mountains or a tundra or a desert or a forest or a jungle, it's still an eco region on the planet. This entire globe that we live on is nature. It's every piece of clothing that you have on, every piece of technology that you have, every piece of material used to build the shelter that you live in are all elements of this planet. So this earth is the only thing that gives itself 365 days a year, 24/7 hours a day to ensure that you have life, and never asks anything from you. Continually take from it, take from it, take from it. So stepping outside, connecting with that beautiful web of life that lives out there will start to help you reconnect with yourself, which will allow you to connect with others around you in a healthy way and be more like that tree. You'll step into starting to decolonizing your mindset, your drivers, because the tree didn't do it for money. The tree's not getting paid. The tree doesn't have a title. The tree just is ensuring that the environment is healthy, like all of our originating cultures did.
Beautiful. Yeah, so it's reconnecting. What I'm hearing, what I'm interpreting, is reconnecting with nature to reconnect with ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's part of nature as well.
Yep. Well, compare yourself. Compare your trees are so beautiful. I'm going to keep going back to this because I love them. But even when something traumatic happens to a tree, so say an invasive bug comes in, burrows into the tree, or someone puts a nail into it or whatever, as that tree grows and you looking through the annular rings from a cross-section cut of the tree, you'll see a traumatic event in the tree's life. And just like us, the traumatic event happens, but each year of growth slowly consumes that, but it never leaves the tree. It's always intrinsically a part of it. Just like when a traumatic event happens into our lives, it's always a part of us now, but we can grow and heal from it until eventually it's solid bark and tree all around where that once intrusive force was in on that tree. So it really helps us to connect with our own emotional turmoil that we deal with all the stuff that we carry, that there is growth, that we can grow beyond it. Yes, it'll always be a part of us moving forward. It's always going to be there, but we can grow beyond it. We can take everything that it gave us and learn from it and then find a better path forward. So when you connect to self, after you've connected to nature, and you can then connect to others around you in a far better way. Without feeling so ostracized or feeling like you have to prove yourself to someone, just show up authentic.
Or being so judgmental, right? Because I think that's one of our big problems is judgmental, but it's also because I think we fear what we don't understand.
Absolutely.
And we don't understand each other, so therefore we become fearful of each other, and then we other each other, right?
Yep. Then it just widens that gap.
Yeah. So it's learning to communicate, like you say, with each other. It's learning to understand each other's perspectives, because when we understand and we communicate, we become more connected, because we're not as we're gaining more information about each other and learning that we don't have to fear each other.
Yes. Dropping the negative biases that we are taught growing up, or what are pushed through our education system. It's sad to say, but a lot of the structure that we have for our society is 100% geared to sustaining that colonial mindset and that colonial ideology, because it needs those exact same ideologies, not only to create itself when it comes to a nation, but also to sustain itself once it's developed itself into a nation. So there's 3 Ds of the colonial system, and that's destabilization, dehumanization, and demoralization.
Yeah.
So these are all processes that we still even see within our policies and our politics to this very day. When we look at the homelessness issues that we're facing, our housing market that we're facing, the further development of eco regions, Bill C-12, all these other terrible things that are removing protections from species, and our connection to the land, further just viewing Earth as something that we can use and abuse versus something that always gives us nurture and love.
Right.
Peterson's Field Guide to Wild Medicines, in the preface of this book, he writes a cool statistic, and it's something that I love to recite because it's such a powerful and profound statement. Humans truly only understand 4% of the plant world. From that 4% of knowledge that we have, 2% of it governs 70% of our pharmaceutical industry. So when we quantify that in terms of knowledge and connection, if we knew more about our land, if we were more connected with our plant worlds, our insects, our wildlife, our everything, we would have the answers to any medical ailment that existed for humans, animals, and every other species alike. So it's really, truly means, and what I take from that statistic is that we need to be more connected to our home to be able to be more connected to each other.
Right.
So once we see that our medicine, our food, our clothing, our everything is coming from Earth, what do we need to take care of the most? Is it somebody's GDP? Is it somebody's mansion? Is it somebody's $5,000 suit?
Yeah.
No, it's a planet. Let's take care of the trees. Let's take care of the plants and the animals and the birds. And when we invest ourselves into that, we give ourselves actual purpose and fulfillment. When we go to something just for, say, a paycheck so that we can buy a thing, you get the thing and it's done and over with. There's no true fulfillment. When you're actually giving back to Earth, when you're connecting and giving your, like, and it doesn't even mean going to plant trees. It just means giving back, like that love, that reciprocation of respect and connection. You don't have to invest money to do it. You just need to invest time and effort. We can find ourselves awakening from these ideologies. We can find ourselves that we don't really need all of this extra accoutrement that exists within our life because the planet gives us everything that we truly do need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't believe how quickly the time's going, but I have a question for you. The work that you're doing, how, first of all, I'd love for you to explain the Six Nations, because I know that you explained it to me when we met, how the Six Nations come to be called the Six Nations. And then how is your work affecting the community of the Six Nations?
Well, Six Nations aren't technically originally a part of what border you would call Canada. We came from the New York region and all along that peninsula there. We came here during the Revolution of 1812, and we sided with the British. So this was 6 miles either side of the Grand from Dundalk to Lake Erie. Is supposed to be traditional territory of the Six Nations people. And that's kind of how we got to where we are here in Canada. After that, when we first settled here, a lot of things happened. A lot of it influenced by the document known as the Indian Act. But the work that I see happening here within my community, I mean, I hope it's positive. I know there's a lot of disconnect from our natural connections, but what we're really aiming to do is create employment opportunities, education opportunities, connect them with pathways to remove themselves from the negative cycles that colonialism has left within our social structures. and break free from those toxic cycles that exist on the reserve, so that they could go out and meet new people, see and understand and garner new perspectives, so that they can see that everything that we've been locked into in a box due to the Indian Act and colonial agendas, that we are far more than that. We are far more connected. We're intelligent. We're scientists. We're innovators. We're agriculturalists. The way we survived with our ancestors was in a way that was so pure and connected to the ebb and flow of nature itself, that I want them to be proud of it moving forward. I don't want them to be ashamed of their ancestry. We have the highest teen suicide rates. We have the highest adult male suicide rates. We have the highest recidivism rates. We have the highest percentage of children in the child welfare system. All of these negative statistics that really keep my people locked in prison is what I'm trying to break them free of. I want them to be confident in their skills. I want them to be loved where they go. I want them to be proud of who they are. So I really hope the work that I'm doing in the community is geared, seen as that. And I'll never stop doing what I do, because I truly believe that my people are worth it.
100%. Absolutely. So how can people who are listening, who would like to help, who would like to be more engaged, to learn, or just to help in whatever way they can with what you're doing, how can they do that?
They can reach out to me through our website, 7gexplorations.com, or we are on Instagram as well, 7G Explorations. Hoping to start a Facebook page eventually. I'm not a very tech savvy person. I'm an in-person communicator. So I'm slowly developing those skills to manage all of the technology aspect of things. But yeah, it's just on a continual upward growth chart. So we'll evolve as we go.
And just, we don't have much time, but just talk a little bit about what you're doing in the schools.
Oh yeah, empowering our classrooms is a part of starting off with the elementary school systems, is how we're going to start sparking interest into learning more about their environment, because there really is a massive number of careers and education opportunity in the environmental or ecology field of work out there. So getting them interested at a young age, having them engage on their own time and playing outside and identifying plants and maybe doing a little bit of bird watching, I feel that it is going to be one of the most successful ways for them to be able to step outside of their home and feel confident and connected no matter where they go. So it also gives us the opportunity to give them a chance to possibly work for us. So as they grow through the programs that we'll have offered within our community, they can sign up as junior sweep guides for summer jobs in between school. So they would come and participate, learning oratory skills, interpretive skills, interpersonal management skills, as well as wilderness first responder certifications, water rescue certifications, compass and map reading certification. So really giving them every tool that they need to be able to go outside in the environment successfully and do it in a good way with a well thought out plan with consideration for the safety of everything and everyone around them. When we talk about safety for everything and everyone around them, we're not just worried about the safety of the people that we're on expedition with outdoors, but the animal life that we interact with while we're out there as well. So leave no trace philosophy, all of those wonderful things. So we really, when we're in the school systems, we're promoting what we're doing. We're promoting opportunities for education, but we're also getting them to seek out information on their own. We have some stuff in development currently where we hope to be able to have an app that these kids can download so that they get questions randomly sent to them, and then they get to go out and find these items in nature and post the pictures to get points and stuff like that to participate in what we're doing. So just getting them interested, getting them outdoors, getting them excited, and hopefully gearing them towards a career where they get to participate outdoors with nature, with wonderful people from all over the world.
Yeah. Josh, you're doing such important work and in so many different areas. And I'm so grateful that I met you and that I'm able to hear what you're doing. And, just it just warms my heart to know. I would love to be a part of it in some way, sometime down the road. We've spoken about that as well. You've got so much knowledge and so much to share. I met you on the Grand River cruise where you were doing a luncheon. There was a luncheon, but you were doing a talk on myths and legends.
Correct.
And I loved it. And I wonder if that's something you would consider coming back and doing on our show.
Oh, absolutely we could. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. I really loved doing that series on the Grand River dinner cruises. Blaine has been nothing but a massive supporter for what we're doing within our community. I consider him a great friend as well. Everything that we're developing in partnership there, as well as with Six Nations Tourism and with yourself, we would be more than happy to come and share what we have for knowledge or programming. And we would also love to have you out at some point in time.
Beautiful. That sounds wonderful. I look forward to that. When Grand River Cruises starts up again, are you still going to be doing that series?
So the series are a grouping of different speakers for each event. But if they ask me to come back to speak for another event, I totally would. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Huge supporter of what they do at Six Nations Tourism. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'd like to promote that as well when that happens. And I also want people who are in other countries or in other provinces to be able to hear, the knowledge that you have to bring to us.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe sharing knowledge and information with others is the best way to move forward.
Yeah. And connecting on how do we awaken or help each other awaken from a colonial mindset.
Yes. And go back to just being humans.
Yes. I love that. Love it. You'll have to come and do a talk at Unity.
Oh, for sure. I would love to.
Great.
I thoroughly enjoyed this experience. So
good.
Yeah.
So if there's, is there anything that you would like to say before we wrap up? You've got about a minute.
The most powerful thing that I could say right now, love will lead the way.
Love will lead the way.
If we lean into love, compassion, empathy, all those beautiful things that make us such a wonderful species, I am 100% confident we will truly evolve and we will find a far better, healthier way to move forward together. No more of the separation, no more hatred, no more wars. We can honestly have conversations, treat each other with respect, and grow together.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So thank you so much once again for being with us. To everybody who's watching live or who watches at any time after, thank you for joining us. And please like, share, and I can't remember what the third one was. Like, share.
Subscribe.
Thank you. Subscribe.
I got you.
Like, share, and subscribe to support us so that we can continue doing this show and that more people hear about it and hear these wonderful guests that say yes to come and join us. So next week, we have another great speaker. And come back and be with us again and see you next week.
Perfect.
Don't go away. You stay.
Absolutely. I'll be right here.
Thank you.